never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, morning, evening. I've got my times of day wrong. I know the clock often looks the same, and so does it outside at about this same time of night, or day, or morning, I should say. Hope you've had a good Friday. If you missed the show this morning, well, here we are catching up this evening, and it's going to be a little interesting tonight. Got a few guests lining their way through, provided all the emails got through. Vince will be joining us in the not-too-distant future, as will the Galactic Larrikins, who folks were requesting popped in for a bit of a chat. And, well, I actually fluked it. Rob happens to be up in Maloney at the moment, so they'll assumedly be on the same feed. So hopefully I'll send a text shortly to see why they're not in the back room, but we'll get there. And very shortly we'll catch up with Michael Offe to find out more about the Freedom Truck case with his brother Paul. Obviously, we've been talking about that now for some years, and well, there have been developments, let's just put it that way. And we have to be a little bit careful as it's an active case, but you're not going to believe some of the shit that's going down. Anyway, Michael's going to join us shortly. Hello to everybody in the chat. I've had to pop in and pop out, so I missed who was at the top of the chat or who was first in tonight. But Aussie Sue, I can see you got in pretty early at about 4:30. Tony, you are a legend of a human being. I can't thank you enough for the support and the ear that you are to me at times, mate. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. The lovely Donna, g'day Macca, Margot, Aussie Sue. I saw your picture from the island too. How beautiful Russell Island truly is. It looks like you're out paddling with the dolphins. What a magnificent thing to be able to do. Please, folks, remember to like and share. And if you want to come back and put a comment in the show afterwards because you weren't here during the family time that we have live, then please do that too. We are endeavoring to do a lot more with our comment section in the near future, but there is only one of me and there is only a certain amount of time. However, there may be some developments on that front too. I might be able to get a little bit of help in the near future, and who knows what that could lead into. My lordy me, what that is in the house. Now, I've missed the top end of this. I'm sorry. Oh, have I? Hey all, no, lying in a hospital ward. Surprise, I found a nurse that's awake. Bless you, mate. Bless you. Rachel from the family has been sending you much healing. I know Tony's been involved, sending you healing, and I am so pleased to see that you're, well, lying in a hospital ward, but at least you're lying, you're part of the family, you're typing, you're part of it, mate. I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the near future. It won't be this weekend, but it will be in the near future. What great news, mate. And I think I saw somewhere down here. Right, what have they done? They've gone into an artery in your leg and then into an artery in your chest to meet in the middle and repair the damage. You're a bit sore. I'm not surprised, but that's probably better than having your ribcage cracked open. So, oh, mate, I'm so happy for you. Well, I'm so glad it's gone well. Excellent stuff. And there's Rach. Okay, so I'm a bit running behind the game there. So, but great news. Well, I'm not sure that healing is what is required, but I can tell you that we do need prayers, particularly when it comes to what's going on with poor Paul Offe. We'll get to that very shortly. Black Sheep's in the house. Nice to have you, mate. Peter Grace, wonderful man. Pete from Pinaroo, as he's also known. The bear himself is in the house. Clayton, Angelina, Joanne. Oh, we got the roll up tonight. Katrina, everybody's in the house. Nice to have you folks. Listen, before we get into Michael, I just want to touch on something that I screwed up royally this morning. I brought up this particular poster, which is a pro-Palestine anti-fascist rally. And then because I've had my head buried in Sydney for a few reasons for the last week or so. And I can't tell you what I've got my head buried in Sydney. I'm not an organiser. What I am trying to do is find out certain things about what's going on there. And I've been very involved just in my own little world, not with anything that's being organised for Sydney, but I've been very involved trying to find out a bit more about it through my own channels. So I had Sydney in my head, and this thing this morning, I've brought this up and started sprouting off bullshit about it having something to do with the Sydney event. It doesn't at all. It is to do with the Melbourne event and a march for an Aboriginal and multicultural Australia. And I can tell you, folks, that in this flyer, which is absolutely disgusting, there are so many complete lies about what the March for Australia is all about that I feel we will talk about it briefly again tonight. Now, I'm not going to read these absolute lies out again. If you choose to freeze the screen and read them yourself, then feel free. But I can assure you that there isn't one word of truth. And the fact of the matter is that this group is using words like mobilization, activism, and they are a very active, apparently, group. And you can see what sort of support they have with all the symbology, shall we put it, across the bottom of the page. So the Melbourne event, and I don't know who's involved with that. I know that there are people who've offered to go there and film the event for me, and I'm starting to rethink that. I mean, these people are capable and they will look after themselves in that event, but if you are in Melbourne, I wouldn't be taking your kids to this protest, put it that way, or this march, if that's what you're planning on doing, because I believe there are forces at work, especially in Melbourne, and from what I've been able to ascertain in the last week in Sydney, who are going to work very, very hard. And not necessarily in Sydney will they be Palestinian forces. I want to make that clear. In fact, I would say exactly the opposite is happening in Sydney. The Palestinian March for Gaza or meeting for Gaza that they have every Sunday in Hyde Park is going to continue. And as far as I'm aware, those organisers have no plans to be involved in any way, shape or form with the March for Australia. And good luck to everybody who wants to do it, is the sentiment that I believe is being pushed from there. However, Melbourne looks like it's being hijacked for a variety of other reasons, including, and most prominently, that particular one that I've just shown you. All right, enough of my carrying on for the time whilst. Let's get in and find out a little bit more about what's going on with what seems to be a never-ending story about Paul Offe and the Freedom Truck. A quick précis, Paul built a rather large prime mover, semi-trailer, that was custom designed for him. Now, Paul is a young man who has had three very unfortunate moments in his life, which have left him with three separate injuries that do affect certain areas of his brain. None of them affect his ability to drive a vehicle. It's more about processing and speech and that sort of stuff than anything else. But he made this vehicle essentially as a way so he could go forward and make a living. He was going to use it as a limousine service, if you like, on the Gold Coast, and it had been booked to be used in a movie. It would have been the star of that movie. Now, I think, well, pretty sure that that movie's gone by the by, and the truck is still sitting locked up in a police compound in Canberra after the Australian Federal Police broke into it and seized it. And then in what I would call a very extreme act of lawfare, have been able to wedge that truck in a compound out in the elements since that day in Canberra and fight every step of the way to be able to sell it, to be able to get rid of it, and to be able to throw Paul in jail with, I think, a total of close to 40 years potentially in jail if he's found guilty on all these separate ramped-up charges that they have put forward. So tonight, I'm going to bring in Paul's brother Michael, and he can tell us exactly what's been going on for the last couple of days. G'day, Michael. How are you, brother?
Good evening, Carl, and all the listeners. Thanks for having us.
It's been a fairly tumultuous couple of days for you, I think. Your eyes must be hanging out of your head. You've been on phones to, legal proceedings in Canberra for the last couple of days. Can you just outline what that was all about for us?
Yeah, well, we've had a legal team in place for the last, what would we say, 12 months or so, and we were expecting a good run with that and being able to mount a fairly good defence case with a good, well-experienced barrister involved. Fortunately, that barrister ended up getting unwell around Christmas and was no longer able to travel, so that caused some grief there. And then, so that sort of threw a big spanner in the works. And then the alternatives for a replacement barrister also, and having to rebrief a lot of the matters, sort of pushed the costs up considerably. And yeah, it just ended up being that we needed to somehow raise $250,000 to run a trial defence. So we've tried for 6 months to achieve that and haven't been successful.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We were unable to raise
So
$250,000
on that one.
I mean, there was significant funds raised, just not the level that these guys particularly wanted. So that meant that they get to exit the case, I guess.
Well, I mean, it wasn't fair in a way for them to be trapped in a case that they would have had to have paid money out of their own pockets to run to a higher value, because the barristers work separately to the legal firm anyway. So,
yes.
Yeah, that was a circumstance that couldn't really be avoided, and we believe in doing the right thing by other people. And that was the right thing to do. So, the only problem is it leaves us Paul, more to the point, in a pretty challenging situation. We have also had a number of issues on behalf of the prosecution where things haven't been dealt with accordingly as they should have been months ago, or either that or there's something going on between them and other parties, as in our previous representation, something's not gotten through. So a few other complicated matters that have meant that we're sort of sitting in a position where trial's meant to be starting on Monday, and at this point is starting on Monday, and Paul doesn't even have the transfer of the brief from the old firm and things like that. So, and certain other material that was expected to have been provided months ago. So, a little bit of a sticky challenge. We've tried to air those grievances in the court for the last week, and the court don't really seem to think that it's actually relevant or important to be able to have those things available for us for a defence. They seem to think that everything is pretty clear cut, and they seem to think that he was, I don't know, seems to be the idea that he was guilty when everyone that was there completely disagrees with that. So I guess that's what will hopefully be found out in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, we're suddenly thrown.
It has to be. I mean, I know you can't say much because you're involved with the case deeply, and I can't say a great deal either because it's a live case. But I've been privy to many of the workings behind this. I know exactly how much work you've put into this, and I'll be honest, folks. Michael could be a solicitor and could run this case himself if he was able to do it in a magistrate's court, for instance, but in a Supreme Court, it doesn't quite work like that. Michael, you've put in a massive amount of work to help your brother. It looks to me that, clearly Paul's been railroaded, and in the last 2 days, I believe that the court has failed you in procedural fairness details on multiple levels, which only sets up whatever happens on Monday if they choose. And at this time, folks, if you are able to get to Canberra Monday morning, I guess you're a 9:30 start time, are you, Michael? Because the court has demanded, as of this afternoon, that Paul Offe will go to Supreme Court trial Monday morning.
Yeah. Don't know. It's somewhere between 9 and 10. Either
Yeah,
way.
well, it would be nice, and of course, you guys will have to be there for that. You'll be making your way down to Canberra, I imagine, and Paul will be making his way over from where he is.
Not only will we have to be there, Paul's essentially stuck being the barrister and the solicitor all in one, and also enjoying that situation with a multiple mild traumatic brain injuries in the past that make his
Yeah.
thinking under pressure a little bit more challenging.
Folks,
So
if you can get into this courtroom on Monday to help support Paul and Michael, and well, it remains to be seen, but at this juncture, really the only help that Paul can expect is a Mackenzie's friend. And given the nature of his injury, and it does qualify as a disability, hopefully an adjournment of some kind can be levelled, or some form of at least level playing field developed, so that these charges can be heard and the defence can be properly laid out. I also note that the prosecution has decided in its lawfare, and I think that's the only way to describe it, they are less than forthcoming with documents that should have been put forward months ago. They are less than forthcoming.
I don't know, there's debate on what's happened there, and I don't have the evidence to be able to know one way or the other where things are at, other than that we haven't seen the material. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that it's certainly a harrowing time for you guys, and
yeah, I've
unfortunately, I
run
can't
on
be
3 hours
down in
sleep for the
Canberra on
last
Monday.
two. I was going to say I've run on 3 hours sleep for the last 2 nights, so I'm starting to get a bit ragged, but we're
Yeah, I
still
bet you
here.
are. Who
Yep,
else?
I haven't
Who's driving you down? Because you're going to sleep. You don't want to be behind the wheel doing that.
I'm not sure. I haven't even worked things out on that. Haven't worked out where we're staying. Haven't worked out how we're getting there. But hey,
Well,
we've
I
got
guess that's
48
the
hours.
other thing. I guess that's the other thing. You've got to put yourself up in Canberra for however long this is going to be. I know
2 to
that we
4
have.
weeks.
I know that we have friends in Canberra. I know that we have a lot of people follow us from that area. If anybody can help with accommodation for you and Paul,
About,
and
about
there'll be
3 of
one
us
other
that,
at least. Yep.
yeah, there's 3 of us that will
So
be trying to find a place to
and
stay. Yeah.
they won't be around during the day, and all they'll need at night is a table to sit around while they try and formulate the next day's defence. It's not going to be a pleasurable trip by any stretch of the imagination. And I will endeavour to get down there, mate. There's a bit going on here at the moment, but I will endeavour to get down there at some stage during this process. That is, of course, unless an adjournment, and there should be area for a reasonable adjustment given the circumstances. But the court has been trying to get this heard for some time. Do you think there is an element of stubbornness now from the court?
Based on what we're seeing, you would think that that's probably the scenario. Yeah,
Yeah,
there doesn't seem to be any flexibility whatsoever in anything. It is happening. When he was when they have a thing for basically leading up to it, where they work out whether uh, the parties are ready for trial. Wasn't even asked whether he was, wasn't even given the courtesy. So that was
yeah,
interesting. So
yeah,
yeah, I think they basically intend to run it come hell or high water, and that's what it
yeah,
is. And yeah, it's it's hard to believe that after 3.5 years of trying to raise sufficient support to be able to run a proper legal defence on a
yeah,
case that was probably one of the biggest and most ridiculous um, situations coming out of that whole period of time, where there's
yep,
been a handful of other people that have been screwed over pretty badly as well. Um, but Paul's definitely had the book thrown at him for what ultimately was a complete, an entirely confusing situation that
Yeah.
was hard for anyone to make sense of, with absolutely zero clear direction from anything or anyone as to what he was supposed to be doing. And then he gets basically set up for being a dangerous person and throw the book at him and take his
Yeah.
$200,000 truck, destroy his livelihood, destroy his family. And we've been
Yeah.
basically dealing with it for 3.5 years, trying to get somewhere. And it's just
It's
surprising that
ridiculous.
in that whole scene that's been going on, that you can't get the support to run a fair trial. Like, in theory,
Yeah,
that they
well, I mean, there are plenty of
claim
people.
that
Arvy's very good at raising money for himself, and he's doing it again now to raise new microphone equipment. I don't know why he needs us to help him pay for it. He's got plenty of Jewish supporters who can reach in a pocket and pay for it in a heartbeat. But apparently now he wants the people to pay for it. I know he's been very good to you guys in the past,
he's
and he
actually
has
been really
mentioned it on
supportive,
a couple
which
of
has been
occasions.
great. Yeah,
So,
but
maybe you can get one of your
yeah, no,
high-priced lawyer friends to come and help you and offer a bit of support. I know. Look, I'm being unfair there. I retract that. I'm sorry. I know that people do want to help you. What my observations of what's happened, particularly with the lawyers that have been retained in this case, is that they have all shown at the beginning of this case a great desire to fight. And yes, Paul's being treated unjustly. And yes, we'll
I
fight
think
every one of these. And then toward the end of it, it's like, oh, no, look, plead guilty to this and they'll throw the other ones away. I don't know that there are any lawyers left in this country who are actually prepared to take up a fight for not guilty. They just walk in and want a plea deal.
it is concerning. Certainly this experience. I guess there's a couple of things. One is, supposedly the legal system in Australia, you're still innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, supposedly.
That's great. That's great. I mean, you are on paper, and the way it works, but the problem is, unless you have a lot of money to defend yourself or to run a decent legal team, it's
Yeah.
it's not that you're not it's not that you're guilty until proven innocent. It's just that you somehow need to raid a bank to be able to fund enough money to be able to get a defense. So
Yeah.
it's the system seems to be, in our experience, which we'd never had any experience with the criminal justice system before because we're not criminals and have no
Yeah.
intention of being in any way, shape, or form. Um, but it seems like it's well designed to work for criminals, in that it's catered around people that are guilty.
Mm.
Um, they don't even seem to really parts of the system don't even seem to really appreciate that someone may not be guilty. There's certainly no system in place to get good support if you are innocent, because that costs a lot of money to run a defense. Whereas if you're guilty, they'll go in and negotiate and sort of trim your sentence down a little bit, and everyone will go home happy, and no one's really lost any money or anything. But when you're
Well, you
innocent
will,
and
because they'll fine you as well. There's always money that changes hands.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well,
but
but
yeah.
it's not as though you're
So
paying a
what
few
can we
hundred
do?
grand to get. So it's a bit of an eye opener, I suppose, and
Yeah,
um,
I agree.
absolutely. So, and I think you were saying about lawyers all come in super excited to run a case and everything. We've had a couple of lawyers that have done that, and barristers, and credit to them, they actually believed in the case and they believed that it was a major injustice. Both
Yeah.
these teams. Um, I think when they've gone into it, they haven't realised how complex it is and how involved it is, and that is part of the and also how hell bent the prosecution are in running it, and how difficult the ACT courts are to actually get fairness out of. So I think what's happened as time's gone on, they've realised that it's not the ease or cheapness of the case, to be able to run it. And that's why
Yeah.
they, towards the end, they sort of throw their hands up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my interpretation anyway. So
Monday morning at the ACT Supreme Court in Canberra. If you can be there, folks, to support Paul, Michael, and the rest of the team that will be there putting forward his defence, it would be hugely appreciated. And if any of you might know of somewhere cheap they can crash for a few days, weeks, or wherever, then let us know that too. Actually, Vince, log in, mate. You can come in for a chat. He asks a question here, which is interesting. Is it trial by jury, spelt with a D instead of a J, or bench? Now, we would have thought, being the Supreme Court and having asked that it should be a full jury trial, that all the charges would be heard in front of that jury. But it seems the ACT Supreme Court has its own set of laws, and they screw you with them too, don't they, Michael?
Yeah, so we found out yesterday, which was news to us. I don't know whether we've just never been told it or whether not many people know about it, but the transferred charges from a magistrate's court won't get heard by a jury. They'll be heard by the judge.
So, yeah, it's an interesting web. We'll talk over the weekend, mate, and whatever we can do to help, as always, you know that.
I was going to say, if anyone wants to see more on it, just have a look on the bottom of my screen. There's freedomtruck.au. That's the website to go to, freedomtruck.au. That's the actual donations page, but it will give you some updates. If you click back through the updates, you'll find something there. The other thing you can go to is, if you go to convoytocanberra.com, you'll find some other links back to his Facebook page and things like that too.
Beautiful.
And if anyone wants to see, anyone that's not overly familiar with it, this is what the truck was meant to be getting. Oops, wrong screen. What the truck is meant to getting used for. Cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
And putting smiles on people's face.
Yeah.
So that was at Supernova, literally 6 months before the event. And that's what it's supposed to get used for.
Yeah.
So,
tragic.
And he just went down there to take. There's a whole lot of people on the Gold Coast trying to get donations down to the big campgrounds down there where everyone was staying at, and he was then not planning to even drive the truck on the day. That was just, he was asked to do that by a whole heap of people that morning. So it sort of all happened, and
there's no intent behind him in any way, shape, or form. Yeah,
no, he was just trying to get where he was told to get.
We'll talk over the weekend. I'll let you go and pack a bag and kiss your missus and figure out how you're going to drive to Canberra and get enough sleep to do so in between.
Yes. See how that works out. All right.
All right, mate.
Thanks again.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Monday morning, 9:30 at the Supreme Court in Canberra, folks. If you can get along and help support the Offe brothers, it would be dearly and greatly appreciated. And if you are there and want to do a live report to me, then email me and we'll figure out a way to do that. I'll set up a link that you can log into just the same as everybody else does. So we would love to bring you up to speed with and we will, of course, keep you up to date with what happens. I'm sure Michael will give me a call on Monday night to let me know how it's all gone. All right, let's move on a little bit, and it's time to bring in the folks that, well, I get demanded we haven't seen in a while. So without further ado, and I don't have a little trumpet fanfare to play, but ta-da!
Hey!
G'day, Galactic Larrikins. Back. My God, Bruce, you're looking a bit flash. There's a mustache, nicely shaven. Oh, my Lord, look at you.
I wouldn't say nicely shaven, but yeah, a lot shorter than it used to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at you, Bear. Did you get dressed up for work just for me, or have you just come here for holding the stick?
No, just something nice and warm, and it just happens to be from work. So
very nice.
Right.
Great to see you, boys. It's been such a long time, and we've got so much to catch up on. But I'm going to bring in the Waving Wonder, because without him, there is no Friday night free for all. And he's back. And wow, the Waving Wonder has fallen into a sharp blade as well.
Yeah,
by the look of it.
Yeah.
My Lord.
Yeah. Had a little accident with the lawnmower.
It's taken years off you.
Well, all I have to say is that it's probably the years we should give back to Michael Offe from the bullshit that's going on up in Canberra. I mean, I was there that day, so I literally saw that truck and I saw most of what happened. And as far as I'm concerned, the police have got no case.
Well, they would and are arguing quite successfully that they have a case. They might be arguing it preaching to the choir. He happened just to sit on the bench, unfortunately. So it's a pretty nasty sort of choir to be stuck on. But you're right. The case, or certainly some of the charges that they've brought against Paul, are outrageous. And they seem to believe that Paul's going to be hung by his own vision. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. And Bear, you also have some intimate knowledge, and we won't go into it, obviously, because of certain things, but you have intimate knowledge of that day as well. You were close up to it.
I was. In fact, I filmed the whole thing, and all the footage they use is the footage that the Galactic Larrikins filmed. And yeah, I will be a witness in the case. It looks like I'll be heading to Canberra next week.
Well, so wonderful. All right. Well,
and warned me, and everything was going down very quickly, and I may be required next week, and it's sounding like I will be. So interesting.
Yeah. Well, certainly some of the things that happened today in the court, where we really did think it was a lay down misere that they were going to have to delay at least for a week or two. But the court makes up its own rules, does what it wants. It doesn't seem to really give a shit in first glance and first listening to what I've heard about what's happened today. But yeah, quite shocking. All right. Well, boys, we want to know what you've been up to. And I know, Bear, you've been wandering around the bush, holding sticks and finding rocks and gold and God knows whatever else. And you, Bruce, you've just celebrated or a little over 12 months in your brand new business. So can you tell us and explain the business? How is it going?
Yeah. Thanks, Carl. It was the 8th of the 8th, 2024 that we opened up to the public. So before that, when we bought the place, there were full-time tenants living here. So we took us, 6 months basically for them to complete their leases and go on their merry way. And that's when we started Airbnb. And the place that we bought here up in Maloney has got a wellness centre under the main house. So we've got a hyperbaric, a mild hyperbaric oxygen therapy. We've got a float tank, magnesium salts float tank. There's a infrared sauna, and also a crystal light bed, which is 7 crystal clear, very clear crystal with the different lights of the different chakras that shine down on each of your chakras and balance them out and energize them. So that one's a little bit more woo-woo than the other ones. The other one's a little bit more scientific based, but the crystal light bed is actually the most popular one that we have here, which is quite interesting.
Well, I've got to admit, if there is woo-woo in the hills, you're in the right hills to have the woo-woo happening.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. We had one lady who she said that she was visited by a psychic healer who removed a black entity from her shoulder, and she said when she got up, it does a bit. When she got up, her shoulder was much better. Yeah. So
wow, okay.
Get one of those black people off your shoulder. That will definitely make it feel better.
A bit heavy.
Good point. So it is a business that people can obviously come and stay at from overnight to a few days, can't they? Or how long can people stay?
So as long as they want, I suppose, within reason. As long as they're nice.
Seems fair.
Yeah, but we've got one of the accommodations is a 1910 railway carriage that came from Adelaide that used to do the Glenelg run. So it's this antique, over 100 years old. So I used to do the Glenelg run down to the beach and back each day, back in the 1920s. If you can picture that, all these.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you guys gutted it and have built it into a marvelous little unit.
Can't take the credit for that, Carl. It was like that.
Come on, I'm trying to beef you up.
Yeah, no, we did a little bit of reno work.
Serious renovation.
Yeah, we did
a little bit.
Well,
Jesus.
Yeah, new kitchen. We painted the place, and what else did we do? Just new furniture and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's
light fittings and the whole thing. And it's period now, is it?
It's what?
Is it period now? Like meant to be back in the 20s, or is it?
Yeah, we tried to keep it as
very
traditional.
high class 1920s. But yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
the kitchen's a bit modern.
I think Titanic.
Yeah, well.
So that's place number one. How many different spots have you got on the property where people can come and stay?
Yeah, well, that one's divided into two. It's got an adjoining door in the middle, which used to be the wall between the smokers and the non-smokers back in the good old
right,
days.
Okay.
So that's two cabins, and then we've got two other cottages, which are self-contained, like little houses. Basically, they're all sort of open plan with kitchens and living areas and bedrooms, sort of all in one.
Like a studio.
Yeah, like a studio. And they've all got nice deep baths that look out to the mountains, and there's some amazing views.
We should point out you're in the rainforest sort of portion of the hinterland of the Sunshine Coast too. So getting outside and getting amongst the leafy green, so to speak, is something you can enjoy there. It
certainly is. Yeah, it's a different way of living too, I've got to say. It's living in the rainforest certainly has its interesting encounters, I guess you'd say, as far as creepy crawlies and reptiles and all those.
You'd be getting pretty good at dealing with carpet pythons by now, I'd reckon.
Yeah, there's a couple around. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any for a little while now, though. They're probably more in summer they come out. But there's heaps of wallabies and kookaburras, lots of different birds.
Beautiful.
It's great because we're right at the end of the road, so there's no traffic or anything like that. It's just peaceful and quiet, and yeah, it's got a real energy to it. Yeah.
You've obviously got people talking about it now. They want to know how they can find you. So, how do people? You got a website?
Yeah, the website is heaveninthehills.au.
Heaveninthehills.au.
Yeah.
I'll try and bring it up here.
Yeah.
Heaveninthehills.au. Sometimes when I do this, look at that. Sometimes when I do this, I tend to disappear off the screen. So just give me a moment.
That's a risk we're willing to take.
That's what it takes.
Thank you. How delightful.
Oh, there you go.
And I haven't disappeared?
No. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the great website you just brought up.
Hang on. I've started something that has audio running in the background.
Audio?
I don't know where that could happen. Where's that coming from?
Uh-oh. I thought I got rid of that.
This is very strange.
Scroll down. It might be that video that's underneath it, although...
You got videos playing?
Yeah.
There it is. I see.
But that shouldn't have sound.
Nice. All right. Well, this is a bit of an idea. Folks, you can get a look at it and go and check it out yourself. It gets a bit confusing with that audio running in the background. Heaveninthehills.au. But I have to say, how bloody magnificent does that look? And beautiful pictures of the houses and both of the train compartments is probably not the right word to say, the train units. But
cabins.
Mild hyperbaric oxygen. Now, that's pretty good if you're not feeling terribly well, isn't it? That sort of stuff.
It is, yeah. It's actually great for a hangover, definitely. Yeah.
Great for a hangover.
Yeah. It's true. But
lovely.
What it does is it forces or squeezes oxygen into your blood, and an extra amount of oxygen, because it's got a little box that sits on the top that has water in it, and that water gets split into oxygen and hydrogen, and that gets fed into the capsule that you're lying in. So you're breathing in an oxygen environment of like 40%. Normal oxygen is about 20%. So it's about 40%, plus then it's under pressure. So it's being pushed into your blood, and then that gets taken to your cells, and then that helps produce ATP, which is the energy that the cells produce to do the things that cells have got to do, depending on what type of cell they are. So it helps with healing. It helps with regeneration when you're when you've been exercising. What do you call it? What I'm looking for? Recovery. Thank you. Yeah, recovery. And also, it's like they say, it's a bit of a elixir of life. So it sort of keeps you youthful, keeps your DNA undamaged, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right.
All the athletes will use it.
Yeah, athletes use it.
The Australian Institute of Sport. They have chambers, and they sleep in there, and
The first time I ever remember hearing of it being used as a way of increasing the healing rate was after Craig Lowndes' big role at Calder Park, I think it was, many years ago, back in the 90s, and he hurt his knee quite badly, and they needed him back ready to drive again for something. I think it was Bathurst a few weeks later, and he spent a lot of time in a hyperbaric chamber, I think it was, getting therapy, oxygen therapy on his knee, and he was working back, driving around Bathurst 2 or 3 weeks later. It was quite a very good healing process. I haven't had I went to one of those oxygen bars once where they give you these weird little things to put over your nose and you inhale pure oxygen while they sell you overpriced vodka. I don't know that really helped in me anyway. It didn't certainly help me stop drinking vodka in any way, shape or form, but it was certainly not one way to take it.
No, didn't feel drunker because you're having it. I don't know. Yeah.
I think at that time of my life, I wasn't gauging how drunk I was, and if I was, it was usually the next day and what sort of absolute stupidity I had undertaken in the night previous. That's usually how I gauged how my night was, how stupid I'd got, and I usually only learned about that 2 or 3 days later. So, yes. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. Connie and Alan, Connie's husband, has been working in the hyperbaric oxygen therapy thing for many, many years. In fact, he's built chambers, big chambers for various different things. So if you ever need somebody, Bruce, who knows a bit about hyperbaric chambers and how to fix them, I know a man just between you, me, and the gatepost. So, lovely people too, Connie and Alan, wonderful folks. So I've got to come and see you guys sometime soon. Or you've got to come and see me. We were talking about that too. Anyway, we'll get more to that. So, boys, I've got you on for not just to catch up and say g'day, but I want to run a couple of things past you. And in the limited time that we have left, we've sort of gone a little longer. Vince, I want to bring you in on this too, obviously. I've been considering the idea of moving my show a little bit and doing more shows in the morning, whether that be 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time it turns out to be. And I am concerned that because we've built this great family in the chat that is used to being here at sort of 6:30 at night, I'm worried that we might be deserting the family a little bit. So people in the chat, we are watching intently. And if you want to have a say on this, please do. In fact, Pete Grace, who is in the chat tonight, rang me earlier today, and he made an interesting observation. And I'd be interested, boys, because I know that you all listen to podcasts at various different times. His observation was that my live show in the morning, if it went an hour and he wasn't up listening to it, live, that he really only got time to listen to half an hour of it before the phone starts ringing and the day starts interrupting. And he didn't get the time to go back to it, to get to the end of it. And he's now had that with my 2 shows this week, I think it is, that I've done, that where I had a bit of a show in the morning, might have been 3. He's never been able to get through the whole thing. So, Vince, I'll start with you. Very valid concern. What are your thoughts on the move, my idea of the move?
I understand that you're a much better presenter in the morning than you are in the evening due to your years and years of morning shows.
Certainly a lot more life in it. It'll be a bit funnier.
Me personally, I'm going to miss most of the shows because I'm not a morning person unless I've been going all night. So I don't know. It's up to your listeners, really. I'll listen to you anyway because of our friendship and the stuff and information I get. So I do that often when I'm out somewhere else and come back late at night. The disadvantage is, of course, that most of the group won't be in the chat. Most of the family won't be in the chat unless they have morning people. So, So that my thought on it is, I know you don't like evenings, but it is the better time. So that's my thought. But you're the presenter. So
I didn't mind the theory or the thought. The idea is the word I'm trying to get out here that Peter put forward, was that I do a shorter version, say a newsy, headlinesy kind of thing that might run half an hour, and then we cover that sort of stuff in greater detail in the show in the evening, which also isn't a bad idea. However,
do you have the time to do that? You've got a lot of stuff happening at the moment that you need to deal with because you've got to be on the road in 3 weeks. So
that's right. And I'm going to be dealing with, and this is part of the reason why I want to do shows in the morning, because by the time I get to 6:30 at night, given what I've got to do over the next 3 or 4 weeks, I won't have time to do a great deal of research. I'm going to be knackered when I get here, and if I don't fall asleep because I haven't got anybody to kick me awake at the right time, there won't be a show at all. So that does not confuse me, that concerns me. The reasons why I am interested in moving it to a morning slot is because, A, I'm used to being out of bed at 4:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, and that gives me time to work on things from the night before, stuff that's broken overnight in America, and we can have first thing in the morning rather than having to wait until 6 o'clock at night, and other parts of the world as well. That's one of the blessings, but one of the drawbacks of our time zone. That would give us a little bit extra time or to get to the story first, so to speak, if you know what I'm saying. But that, once again, could be a headline thing. In the morning, I am more able and more inclined to want to hook up my telephone system and allow people to dial in and be part of the conversation. It's, for a variety of reasons, much more difficult to do in the evening. I know it's all the same equipment, but you've got to get your head around it. And for the reasons I've outlined earlier, my head's much better done in the morning than it is in the evening. And I'll give you an example, folks. By the time this show finishes tonight, and probably within 45 minutes, I'll be in bed. It's pretty much how it works. Old, boring bastard me. It'll change when I'm on the road. But if I can do a show in the morning, it means that I can prepare as best I can during the day, and all the rest of the shit of the day that happens doesn't impact my show. I wake up the next morning, I go look at the work that I've done, and I've had some conversations today with someone who we're going to try and see if we can figure out a way. They want to help me research stuff. I want to be able to do deeper dives on stories, which will require somebody to help me do all that. So I've got somebody who's keen to do that. That would work also from a morning show perspective, in that person likes to work nights like you do, Vince, meaning that I wake up in the morning and all of a sudden there's a list of things that have happened, and here are the video points you've got to go and grab. And all I've got to do for the first 2 hours of my day is go and grab all that and then get up and present it. So I think I could present a better show in the mornings is the point that I'm making. But once again, I love this family that we've developed here, and I would continue doing both shows for a period, but we would be driving people to the morning show and giving you more opportunities, hopefully to win, little things like, I don't know if you boys have seen these. Have you? Have you seen the Voice of Freedom Byron Bob holders?
Yep.
Vince has got, look, he's got his own ones there now too. Thank you to the people who've rung up, emailed and said they want one of these. We're taking orders. They're $100. And if you email me or Vince, but email me, carl@vofhq.com. I'm keeping a bit of a list. And we're going to need some more filament because Vince has been pumping these things out with varying degrees of success and failure. Do you want to explain what's going on with that, Vince?
Yeah, the filament, while it looks nice, is not the best quality filament. So every now and then it jams. It basically takes me about 6 to 8 hours to produce one of these. Just one. Wow. Right. So for anybody who's looking for a large order, not mentioning anybody's name, that's 8 hours times by 7, for instance. There you'll get an idea on how long it takes. I just want to quickly say to Joe King, by the way, it wasn't an acoustic device. It was a directed energy weapon, in case you're wondering.
Yeah. Connie's got an idea. Do mornings and do a Friday night show. Sorry, just throwing it up. Keep going.
That's actually not a bad idea. Come on, guys, in the chat, specify morning or evening. Just that, morning or evening. Give Carl some information. There's a couple of morning people, but I haven't seen much else.
Rachel said that she couldn't handle seeing me upset in the morning. First thing in the morning. Why? You don't want me roaring at you? I can probably understand that. That could be a bit hard if you haven't had your coffee.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I'll come back to that, Joe, at the end of the show, the LRAD, but it was not an LRAD. Yeah. I'll explain why.
Yes, we either need a... Oh, sorry. What was that, Bruce?
I was just saying your shorts have been coming up in my doom scrolling as I'm having my coffee first thing in the morning.
Oh, okay.
A little shorts.
Are they worth watching?
Oh, well,
they're not as good as Warwick Kappa shorts. They're all right.
Some of them are good. They're like frustrated because they cut off just as you're getting interesting. Like, oh, damn. I suppose I've now got to watch the whole thing.
Well, certainly, I mean, I don't think we see any huge, great benefit in any way for it, but we're certainly getting a few more views out of it. And we've been finally able to not just crash through that 11,000 subscriber barrier that we've been hovering around for God knows how many years before the suppression was lifted slightly. But now, you know, we've punched through that. We've punched through 11,100. I think we're on our way to 11,200, which reminds me, folks, like and subscribe and share this program. And if you're watching it later and you want to make a comment, and somebody has put some amazing information for me in one of the Rumble channel comments, I've copied that out and I'm using that. You'll see more about that. And the person who's posted that will know what I'm talking about. It had to do with one of the RV videos. So I really appreciate that information, and it's been worked on. So, you know, we want to engage a lot more. I want to engage a lot more with you, but it's very difficult at this time of night for me to get everything lined up for me to engage with you during the day, given the other stuff that I've got to deal with. Hopefully that'll change when I'm on the road, but even still, it's much easier for me to pull up somewhere, stay a day or 3 and do morning shows, and then when I've got to leave, I leave in the morning, I drive however many hours I've got to drive, get knackered, pull up, and I don't have to run around and try and figure out how to put a show together that's worthy of you people. Because I'll sit here and talk to myself. It doesn't really matter. But I'd like to talk to things that keep you entertained and interested. So for that, I need some time to be able to go and research it, find it out. And, you know, things do fall across my desk quite regularly. But here's an example of one of the things that I suggest we would all like to research before we say, "Ooh, look at this." And this.
So I have never seen anything like this in my life. I'm just out here hiking with the dog. I don't know what these things are. Is this military? Is this non-military? This is just crazy. There's a ton of them. And they're not making any noise. Can somebody please tell me what is going on? Somebody please tell me what this is, what these are. It looks like there's a U.S.
You get the idea. He goes on like that for another 30 seconds. Oh, can somebody please tell me what they are? I'm going to tell him they're AI.
Yeah, fake. Absolutely fake. I mean, even if the devices that were whatever they were, the actual plane that was flying there wouldn't be going that slow because it would fall out of the sky.
That's the dead giveaway. The plane in the background was flying at the same speed as the UFO and wasn't moving forward. That was the first giveaway to me. First thing I saw, well, other than the way they looked at the opening shot, but the dead giveaway is the aircraft. So
pretty sure I've seen those in sci-fi movies somewhere, in one of the ones I've watched. Anyway,
I think that's clean out of Battlestar Galactica about 1978.
Like it. Yeah.
With a little bit of paintwork on the side, and maybe lowered the stack that used to be the bridge on top of the Battlestar Galactica. But yeah. So Project Bluebeam. I beg your pardon.
So in the chat, it's looking about a 50-50, Carl. Some wanting evenings, some wanting mornings.
Right.
It might be your call, mate.
Well,
I think the Friday night has to stay. I think that's a given.
Oh, I agree. And if I were able to do morning shows, I would be able to put more into a Friday night show. Can I just say? Yeah. I would be able to turn it more into a show with multiple cameras. Now that I'm going on the road, if I can be somewhere where there are going to be a reason to run multiple cameras, even if that is sitting out in the middle of nowhere and pointing one up into the dome or into the space, whatever you choose to believe, and looking at the galaxy. I mean, happy to do that. Got some big lenses. We can zoom in on some interesting things. And I might be able to get some people to come and talk about those interesting things. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anybody who's going to come and talk to us about what we see crawling across the face of the moon on regular occasions with some of these cameras. But we live in hope that somebody will come forward one day and tell us how all that's going. Now, boys, I know that you will have bought your tickets in our lottery to raise a few bucks to help the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary. I can see the look on your face, Bradford. You've obviously forked out your $2 immediately, if not sooner.
Of course.
So, just for your interest, we are running a raffle or a lottery, if you like, for $750. There are only 750 tickets. They are $2 each, and we share the profits with the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary and all the bastards who claim money out of us for holding websites and servers and Vince and all that sort of stuff. So we're also offering a 1 gram bar of Ainsley Bullion, which, for the fun, I mean, I don't know why I'm bothering to do this, because you get a much better look at it if I... oh, God, I think I've dropped it. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's not it. Oh, neither is that.
Oh, he's lost it. Carrying it around.
No.
All this time he's lost it.
I've got them hidden, you see. So finding them sometimes, because I forget where I hide them. And I have a few hiding spaces. Oh, God, it's like trying to get my license out of my wallet. Never easy. I will get it. Bear with me.
We're bearing.
All right. So, guys, Galactic Larrikins, how are you going anyway while Carl's busily searching his wallet?
Yes.
What have you, I know, there we go. He's found it.
Found it.
Bloody hell. Bit of a battle. The plastic, the hard plastic is great. The plastic over the top of it might be bent on the corners. I apologize. But I do have some that aren't bent if you want ones that aren't lifting like this one is. But there you go. One of those up for grabs. That'll be our second prize, isn't it, Vince? We're doing 2 draws.
Yeah, well, we've got this one here at draw number 5, and then again we'll do another one with the gold at draw number 10. In the meantime, we've elected to do those for the in-between draws.
Yeah, we will put those out, and provided we can get some filament, hopefully we can get a blue that looks as good, but it is a better quality. For whatever reason, in the print process, this filament tends to work fine for you, and then
then it jams up in the nozzle for some stupid reason, and of course you're halfway through a print, so you've just lost a whole heap of filament as well. So it is a bit of a pain.
And I'll be honest with you folks, we are not using a printer, a 3D printer of Formula One quality here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Yeah, no, we haven't had $250,000 to donate to you to get that just yet, but who knows, mate? I do have friends with a variety of printers. One of them actually used to have a 3D printing business in Adelaide. I'm not sure if he's still got any of the gear, but if you need help, reach out. I might be able to stitch a network of 3D printers around, and you've already got a design. Are they easily shareable through systems, these designs?
Yeah, I can send them as an SLT, but I could actually get these printed overseas without any problems at all. But that's not the point, is it? The point is that it's made by us.
Yeah.
All right? And that's the point. That's what makes it value, not mass-produced by a company from overseas. But, yeah.
What they're saying, what about a silver plastic? I reckon it might be a bit overpowering, silver on silver.
I thought
black,
gold, maybe.
Yeah, gold or black, like a shiny black would look good too, I think. Or possibly a dark red. But look, at the end of the day, it's what's inside it that looks beautiful. It's what I'm lovingly refer to as the reveal. You know, you pull that out and they just look beautiful. Yeah, pops, as they say.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And by the way, we do not have the money to go buy another printer. Honestly, when Carl says that he is running on the bare bones of his bum, he is not being flippant about that. He is literally running on that. And I can tell you, I am as well, right? Because basically I'm classed as unemployed, even though I do a lot of computer work for free for people. I'm unemployed. So I'm living on the dole. So no, I don't have the money either, right?
Yeah.
So just be fair on that. We are not a big organization. We do not have heaps of finance behind us.
We do not attract
big sponsors.
Yeah, we do not attract big sponsors. We are not, doing those little ads at the front of the programs that you see people do. They get paid a lot of money for that sort of stuff. And I got to be honest, I nearly looked into one the other day. Well, Revolut, I think, is one we might look into because they offer fuel savings, fuel benefits for people. And they are apparently now available in Australia, and they're looking for people to help promote that. I haven't looked deep enough into them overseas to know what else they're into, but I think, if you can save, and they are good fuel savings, if you use this Revolut card or whatever it is to pay for your fuel, you get a lot of other bonuses too. I haven't spoken to you about it, Vince, because I haven't really looked deep enough into it myself yet, but look, that might be something you will see in the future. You see it on everybody else's podcast. It's the fact that I'm a pig-headed bastard who feels funny about that sort of thing, but I also feel really funny about asking you for money. I feel more than funny about that, but it is what it is at this point in time. And I can't thank you enough for the support that you do give us, because we do struggle from one month to the next, but we always make the next month. So thank you.
Yeah.
We might be late on a few things, like Telstra, bastards. Sent me another friggin' text today. So, come on, Carl, we're going to take money from you again. When are you boys going to invent something that gives us free communications? Come on, you're the smart ones.
Hopefully Elon will give it to us at some point.
Yeah, Starlink will be free.
Who knows?
Yeah, fingers crossed. And the new Starlink phones, that'd be great. Hey, I watched your mate Austin on a show the other day too. God. And he was on with a German girl, I think, and it was a really good interview. And now I've forgotten exactly what the subject was about. Stupid of me to bring that up, really, wasn't it? But
this
it was a very, very
morning show. This is why he wants to do a
this is why I want to do a morning show. One of the reasons.
Made the point. You demonstrated. You've demonstrated well. It's just biasing the audience, though. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm just having a bit of a glance through here. Council raised prices 10%. Isn't that great of them, bastards? Telstra can wait. You got that right, Tony.
PLA
at least
was the answer to one question. So PLA is the answer to one question. The second question, the difference between an LRAD and a DEW is an LRAD is a long-range acoustic device, which means it's sound-driven. A directed energy weapon is a microwave that they use, and it was running at 3,600 milligauss at the particular event in Canberra, because I actually recorded it and I actually know where it was sitting. And if I can find my old Facebook reel, I will put it up at some stage.
Excellent.
Disadvantage of microwaving a person who's used to them.
And that's why people suffered burns, not deafness or nausea.
Correct.
The LRADs they don't deliver deafness as such. They deliver nausea. They fuck with your middle ear and all that sort of stuff, but they don't burn you. Clearly, people were burned in Canberra quite badly. So
100%.
And if
that's my opinion, just in case Facebook wants to do that's my personal opinion, because I was there. Just in case this wonderful YouTube wants to say anything about it.
J1 has brought up an interesting point about Starlink, necessary for the new financial system. The new financial system, I think, is something I know we're going over time, but hey, it's Friday night. The new financial system, do you guys believe we are closer now than ever to this new financial system, seeing what we're seeing out of the US and BRICS and everything else?
I think it's going to happen eventually. I mean, we're obviously getting closer and closer, but I like to think that we are very close, but then I thought that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
But we are getting closer.
Definitely getting closer.
Yeah.
We can't get further
I know
away.
some people who were at the John Rickard speech in Jim Rickard speech in Sydney the other night. He is the former Pentagon financial analyst and is very, very tied up in gold or precious metals and their value. He's predicting 10,000 for gold and 6,000 for silver. And he's not, well, I'm telling a lie. He said, don't quote me on these figures, but I wouldn't be shocked at 10,000 for gold and 6,000 for silver, potentially before Christmas. So if that were to happen, wouldn't that be a nice Christmas for us all? Although given the Albanese's government and their recent tax reform summit or whatever the bullshit meeting they've had for the last 3 days in Canberra, they'll try and take all that off us too. We'll talk more about these new tax ideas of taking money from us, including inheritance tax, death taxes, some changes to the capital gains area where you've been able to get money back previously, you won't be able to now. And of course, in Victoria, they're looking at either very soon to introduce or may have introduced unbelievable laws where you sell your house, you're going to donate a much higher percentage of your income to the government. So much so, about 30% more, so much so that by selling your house, you won't be able to buy a house of the same value, much less anyone that's worth a bit more, because the government will take so much money out of it. And there is also a plan to tax your spare room. Yeah.
Really?
A spare room. Okay. And this is because there are so many 3-bedroom homes in Australia with only 2 people living in them. So if you decided to rent out that room, they will tax you on that income that you get out of the room too. Be aware of that. But you will
just
be...
as well all my kids are coming home then, isn't it? Including possibly the 33-year-old, because they can't afford to buy
I would also suggest to people who are in a bracket where your superannuation or the wealth that you've saved yourself for, saved for yourself rather over the course of your life, if you like, the inheritance that you've built for your children, I would suggest looking very closely at what they plan to do with that, because with an inheritance tax, they're going to take probably close to 30% of whatever you thought you were going to give to your children off them. And you could fix that by paying a visit to Ainsley Bullion and maybe availing yourself of some of their professional services before the government can lay their filthy, stinking hands on whatever plastic money or paper IOUs you have, saying you have dollars in a bank somewhere or in a super account. But they are coming at all different levels to, and there is, pardon me, there is a word, let me just bring it up here because I copied it out. They are looking at all of this through an intergenerational equity lens. That means that if you're wealthy people and you leave your wealth to your children, some of that wealth is going to be siphoned off that and redistributed to those who are currently living a less equitable life with money.
Well, that'll be me.
Well, and here I am fighting against it, but that would be me as well. I would be the one that would benefit out of that. But only if I'm prepared to go to the government and get on the dole, and I'm not. I don't want anything from those bastards. So
did you see now
they want to redistribute the wealth. This is wealth redistribution, taking from the rich, giving, well, to themselves, really. They're saying they're doing it Robin Hood style, giving it to the poor, but you can be guaranteed the poor will have it taken off them in 72 different new taxes that will be leveled behind the scenes in the background. There might be a slight lift, but nothing is going to improve your life. These governments are not here to do that. They are here to just tolerate you until you die and get as much out of you as they can along the way. Sorry, just my opinion.
Carl, did you see recently there was 50% of Australians take money from the government? Just went over 50%.
Unbelievable.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Guilty as charged.
Yeah, yep. That's incredible. 50%.
Yeah.
There's also a Silver Fox raises a point there that South Australia changed the Emergency Powers Act yesterday, which actually gives them the right to come onto your property for any
and take everything.
Pretty much. I don't know. I've got to look into it further, but Malinowskis is up to his usual bullshit.
These laws are without doubt the most terrifying. Let me just save them and I'll bring them up so people can get a bit of an idea in case you haven't come across them. Absolutely disgusting. Open an image file. That's what I want to do. This one. Okay, here is what they're planning to do. Last night, the Malinowskis government passed the Emergency Management Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2024. Under the amendment, General Powers, Section 25 of the Act, the state coordinator and authorised officers are given the power to issue directions in any form without limitation. These directions may contravene another law of the state, may affect an individual's personal rights, and may use force to ensure compliance. These directions can include breaking into any land, building, structure, or vehicle, taking possession or assuming control over any land, body of water, etc., moving or destroying buildings, structures, vehicles, vegetations, and even animals, ordering real estate owners to forfeit control of their properties, removing people or animals, directing people to submit to a decontamination procedure, and directing people to isolate. That's just part of it. I mean, they are the most draconian laws ever introduced into an Australian Parliament anywhere, anytime in the history since Federation. And how many people are going to be leaving South Australia? Who would live under that form of tyranny, where nameless, faceless bureaucrats can walk onto your land and assume control of your land, can kick you out of your house, can take all of your clothing, all of your possessions, all of your property, all of your animals, and walk out, leave you with nothing?
Yeah,
How
it's
is
part
that?
of the bio-warfare section, so I understand some of it, but most of it has got too many also lack of restrictions to allow them to do it, so they can just come in and do what they want. And that's the bad part about this. I mean, if there was something that was literally a biohazard on your property or an outbreak of some format, like mad cow's disease or something, yes, and that's understandable, right? But this seems too lax. Like, they can come in and just suggest without proof, right? It's a bit like Michael Offe, and you know, they just make the laws to suit themselves. So,
Ned's got the right idea. We, the people, want our 1901 Constitution reinstated, not the treasonous corporate government bastard one that was put in 1973 by that prick Gough Whitlam. Did any of you happen to see? Did any of you see Four Corners on Monday night? The Sovereign Citizen show. Look, I did watch it, and I haven't bothered talking about it simply because it's. I thought it was weak journalism by the part of the ABC. I thought the story they tried to sell was a setup. I thought they treated the sovereign movement like they were children or developmentally disadvantaged, and sort of patting them on the head. There, you do what you want to do, then that'll be okay. I thought, there was one interesting thing for me that came out of it, was when they mentioned the trains, that family of three that was shot by Queensland police at a little place called Tara, or not far from a little place called Tara out in Western Queensland. They let fly in that documentary that the trains were not sovereign citizens, and that their deaths had nothing to do with sovereigns or citizens or anything to do with a common law battle. And in fact, there is video, I believe, of Albanese mentioning in a press conference, either live as a stupid comment or as with a hot mic somewhere near him, saying that the police murdered these people. And that has long been held by those who knew the trains. The trains were in an interesting and weird relationship, some might suggest. But the fact is, they had detailed information about pedophile rings operated by police forces in Queensland, or police officers in Queensland and in New South Wales, more particularly in New South Wales. And the order came because they were going to go and disclose all of this information. They were heavily involved with a pedophile exclusion network in America, and they had quite a network here in the back channels of Australia as well, and they were prepared to go out and put forward their evidence gathered from the schools that they'd worked in. One of them, of course, was a principal, I think, and had seen and had first-hand knowledge of how this bastard, awful kind of business takes place, and how the police officers are responsible for it. So that is the alleged reason the trains were actually put down. And I use that term with exactly the reasoning behind it that you think.
There's another piece, Carl. If people want to go and have a look at Tim's truth, right? Tim raises a very interesting point about that and that particular show on his program. It's only very short, but there's a really interesting point about what the Constitution says regarding that and who can vote. Very interesting point on it. Who is allowed to vote in this country according to the Constitution? Not the Act, the Voting Act, but the Constitution. So if you're interested, guys, go and investigate, because I'm not telling you here. Time to do your own research.
Oh, we're teasing people. All right. We've gone for nearly an hour and a half tonight, so I want to just thank you boys for spending a bit of time with us on a Friday night. And it's great to see the Galactic Larrikins back and doing what they do best. Sit in a chair and just chill. Very good.
Yeah.
So, Bruce, plug the business again for us, will you?
heaveninthehills.au.
heaveninthehills.au. What about a discount for Voice of Freedom family?
Oh, I think we can work something out. Definitely.
There you go. So, and I hadn't prepared him for that at all, folks. You can hear the level of enthusiasm in his voice.
Maybe work something out.
Yeah. All right, boys. Love your work. Thank you very much, and talk to you very soon. And you, Waving Wonder, can't thank you enough, as always, for the work that you do. And I know you're going to go back, and if you've got any filament left, you're going to try and print up another one of these things. We will have some, I hope, by the end of next week that I can send out to the people who've already ordered some of them. It's not like we aren't being overflowed with orders, but as Vince has outlined, these things do take 7 or 8 hours to print up each, and he tried 3 last night that failed. So a bit of a pain.
One success. I've got one success.
Well, and a beautiful success it is. I mean, they look great when they finish out.
So I've got 5 at this stage, Carl. There is 5 there. Of course, they'll be sent off to you. I'm hoping to get 8 before Monday so I can send them off to you.
Okay. Hey, Will and Kay have tried to buy tickets in the raffle and been knocked back. There is a little foible with this. If you've become a member, or if you've logged in, or you've got to log in, or can you explain what's going on here?
Okay. Let me just do something for half a second.
Oh, well, we'll let Vince do his half a second thing. Folks, the address, if you want to go and get a ticket in our raffle to help not only the Voice of Freedom, but also the absolutely spectacular Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary, which I nearly typed into my board instead of the other thing, then all you've got to do is head to merch.vofhq.com and click on the Sanctuary $750 link, and you'll get straight to the site where you can purchase. Now, we've had a couple of people from overseas who've wanted to purchase and can't. That is because the rules of this lottery are conducted under rules issued in South Australia, and that means that under this particular form of lottery that we're running, we can only run it in Australia for Australian citizens. There are ways and means that other people could buy in, but you would need to have an Australian credit card, which if you're living in America or even possibly New Zealand, you won't have one that will bounce through the system. You can access it all through a VPN. That wouldn't be an issue. It would be how you would pay it. Because I don't think we
have issues because you start talking exchange rates and bits and pieces, and all that dives into the profit for the docking sanctuary as well. So that doesn't help. I've got a share screen there, Carl.
Hang on, I better get rid of a few screens. I'll get rid of that one. And that one.
There we go. All right, so if you've already purchased once from here, what you're going to find is that you have an account that's been created for you, and you would have had that sent to you somewhere in your emails. But even if you haven't, what you do is you go to My Account here. All right, and this one is probably, now, of course, there we go. It's because I'm currently logged in, so it's asking me to log out. But you'll have an option there where you can go to log in. I'll log out of that for half a second. Right, and you'll get this login page where you can actually log in. Oh, that's good. I don't want that there. Get that out of the way. Too late. Someone will capture it. Doesn't matter. It's a complex password. They won't figure it out. Now I've put the challenge out. But what you do is you log in there with your email address. All right, or if you can't remember, go to lost password, down here. It will it'll give you the ability to create a new password. Once you've done that, you come back into this section and you log in with that password. Then once you've logged in, you can go to the sanctuary and you can purchase tickets. And it'll fill out most of the information for you automatically. Right? So, you've got to be in Australia on an Australian thing. So if you accidentally, or you're using VPNs to hide your thing, hook yourself up to an Australian VPN link. That way you'll be able to get in using an Australian IP, because it will knock you back on the country's IP. But if you are using a VPN, you should already have an Australian IP. So that may be part of it. But that is the little trick for setting yourself up. You have to change your password, log in with your account. And once you've done that, that should be a consistent password. All right. Do yourself a favor, guys. Never use the same password that you've used on any other site. So always change your passwords.
There you go. Good advice from the IT legend himself.
Well, an IT person. Don't call me a legend. Well, legend, no. You could call me an expert, which is an X as a has-been and a spurt as a drip under pressure. That works.
Just be glad I'm not calling you a champion.
I don't even know what that one is. I'm going to say goodbye, guys. I'm going to say goodbye.
Thank you. Good night. Some of you will get that joke. All right. Have yourself a great weekend, folks. If anything dramatic happens, I'll poke my head up and we'll have another chat. I have no doubt. But until Monday, it might be Monday morning. It might be Monday night. I don't know. I'll have to go back through and have a read of the chat. Thank you very much for your input. At this point in time, I'm probably hedging for a Monday morning and a Monday night. We'll just see. At least if I get a Monday morning out of the way, I won't feel as bad if I fall asleep before I can do the Monday night. Is any of this making any sense to you at all? Probably not. I am one of those dickheads, and tomorrow I will be driving. Be safe, people. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much for your support here every day on the phone and the love that I get in the emails. And for those of you that choose to help us out, whether it be by donation or joining us as a member or just buying a ticket in the lottery, thank you very much. God bless you, and have a great weekend.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!